All right. Cool. So biggest takeaways from Jeff's opening comments.
Just like the reminder of what is going to be done during TLA, like the book review, like always making sure to give like the 2 weeks notice and how it's not important. One of my big goals was like act on commitment, not feelings. So.
Good. I agree. I wrote something very similar down, right? Making sure that we figure out what our commitments are. That's what we did our exercise last week, right? We're going to do something with that here in just a moment. Good. What else? We'll go 10 seconds of the last. We'll go right down the line. Josh, Danielle, Amanda, and Steve.
Just like a good reminder, like while you're all actually going to be in TLA, and then kind of just have building, like going into next summer and testing and things like that.
Good. Next.
The part where he's at like the 2 different scenarios and making sure like being mature about it and not like just make sure like you're going based on why you want to be into TLA and not how you're feeling right now. Finish your transition.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I liked the book that you mentioned. I'll definitely check it out. Not from Jeff's opening comments, but
Yeah.
Like, feelings are temporary and commitment is forever. So don't quit if you're feeling overwhelmed. Stick with it. Hope you remember.
I'm in a wrong meeting. Copy URL. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, all of our other crew is in a different meeting, so. All right, that would be, that's good now. Cool. Sorry, Steve, can you repeat that for me? I got distracted.
I'm saying that your feelings are temporary and your commitment is forever, so don't quit if you're feeling overwhelmed to your feelings.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's easy. It's easy to get distracted, and that's why what I'm going to do is I'm going to do our TLA just a smidge different, not like crazy different, but just a smidge. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to transition while we're on this topic into what we were going over last week, and then we're going to spend the last section of our TLA prep doing role play and going through the PR script and the objections and the frequently asked questions. So let's go ahead if you guys want to pull up your notes from last week for our TLA prep. So I'm going to stand back here and deliver from here so that way everyone can see the way it's all set up. So so for everyone to pull up your notes from last week, as far as your big three, your goals that you're excited about for this year, I went ahead and I broke your goals down. I broke your goals down into a few different ones. So let me put this into that mode. All right, cool. So I broke it down into, from what each of you have told me, for your goals. Books that you want to read. Some of you guys have In Cut Go, business. I don't know why Tallahassee's not on with us right now. See where they're at. Will, Mason, so they're not with us. I don't know if they got lost. Okay, so for example, books, like Will and Steven said they want to read, a dozen books this year or so. We have branches, Chelsea, Will, Amanda, Grant, Mason, and Zach said they want to run successful businesses next summer. Investing long-term, Amanda, Danielle, Mason, and Steven, and Zach all said that they want to invest into some sort of long-term investment. Short-term savings, Amanda, Grant, Sierra, Steven want to do some short-term savings. Personal growth and self-growth. That was Josh Spiegel and Dalila. And something has to do with impacting others was Great and Sierra. So what that means is each of you, a lot of you have similar goals and similar big threes that you want to focus on for this next year. And that's exciting. That's exciting. We have like-minded individuals. You have like-minded goals. There was a couple of personal ones that weren't similar to other people. But now that we have a foundation for what you want, I want to talk about a foundation for what we want as a culture, okay? And you can go ahead and write these down, because then we're going to do a think tank, and we're going to collaborate as a TLA, where we'll probably do the virtual hubs. Andrew, what are you doing, dude? Dude, you creeping in on ours?
Wait a second. Are you guys using this one too?
Wait, is this the Zoom that am I using Jeff's Zoom right now?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, dude, yeah. Sorry, man. See you later.
Are you using Jeff's? Do you have another Zoom?
I do have another Zoom. I already started recording, though. Should I not?
I mean, I was gonna use this one. I could use yours, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, use mine, because I'm already in flow. So I'll send you the link, and just use mine for today.
Okay. All right. Cool. Do I have to log into your account, or will it host me, or what?
No, you should just be able to use it. Here, try it and see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll switch it over. I just messaged you.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Later. Okay. So that's why we're in the wrong group. My bad. This is the first time I'm using my laptop versus my phone, so forgive me on that. So this is what I want you to write down. Two things: culture and expectations. Culture and expectations. We did this exercise last year, which was a foundational year for our Clearwater team. The culture that we wanted to create were three things, and the expectations was four. The culture was: we give effort, we're willing to learn, and we have high levels of communication. So we give effort, we're willing to learn, and we have high levels of communication. So we're going to talk about these in just a moment. As far as our expectations for our leadership team, the expectations were four. Number one was consistent selling. Number two, aggressive team building. Number three, being a positive role model. And number four, embodying the triple growth opportunity. So what we're going to do right now is I want to give you guys, we'll start with 60 seconds. What I want you to do, I want you to take 60 seconds, and we're going to split you guys up. So we're going to do, we'll do three groups. Let's see, so Zach, Jules, and Grant, since you guys are up, is that you, Chelsea? I can't see you.
Yeah, this is me. Yeah.
Your video doesn't work, or does it?
It doesn't, because my Wi-Fi sucks so bad.
Got it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have the four of you. Actually, are you able to FaceTime or no? If you hopped on the Zoom, off the Zoom? Chelsea?
The Wi-Fi sucks that it's gonna just say poor connection or black screen. That's what's been happening this past few weeks.
Got it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do Zach, Jules, Grant, and Chelsea. So you guys can have your little conversation over there. That's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll do Steven and Amanda, and then we'll do Danielle, Josh, and Sierra. Cool? So you're going to do three different groups. Cool? What I want you to do is, in a moment, so the virtual group, so Zach, Jules, Grant, and Chelsea, I want you to talk about and dig into the we give effort culture. I want you to answer, the question that comes to mind for me is what is it, why is that important? Essentially, why is that we give effort? one of the cultures, from when it comes to pushes, when it comes to consistency, when it comes to, like, why is that important in our model? And what is the value that it brings to that? What is it to mean to give effort? What we'll do is Amanda and Stephen, you guys will do willing to learn. And then Danielle, Josh, and Sierra, you're going to do high levels of communication. Why is that important? Why is that a culture driver for our Clearwater Game Changers organization? Why is that important? So I'm going to give you like maybe take 30 seconds, 60 seconds right for yourself, and then you're going to discuss why that's important, the significance behind that as far as our culture goes. Now, as far as the expectations, Zach, Jules, Grant, and Chelsea, you guys are going to talk about consistent selling. Amanda and Steve, you're going to talk about aggressive team building. And the other three of you are going to do positive role model. Okay, you'll do those three. So you're each going to essentially plead your case. I want you to plead your case on why that's important. What does it mean to sell consistently? What does it mean to be an aggressive team builder? What does it mean to be a positive role model? What are some qualities that these individuals have inside of our business? You know, like you could even give some examples on how they could emulate that or how they could demonstrate that. You know, what's in it for you as the leader when you are an aggressive team builder, or when you are consistently selling, or when you are being a positive role model, or like what qualities express this this type of behavior? So what are qualifications or qualities of best learners you've met, or people that embody this? List some examples. What are some examples look like? Give some descriptions if you can. We'll give you a couple of minutes to collaborate, and let's see what each of you guys come up with. So take a couple of seconds to jot down some things for yourself, and then I'll give you 2 minutes to collaborate amongst each other. And then I'm going to have you'll pick one person from your group to present to the rest of us what you came up with. So let's go ahead. Time's on 4:47, and go ahead and start. Yeah, so independently, take 30 seconds, and then as soon as you're ready and you have a couple of your own thoughts, then you'll talk amongst each other. I'll give you, so at 4:50 we'll reconvene. 4:50, so 3 minutes in total. $4:51 actually, because it just started.
So, what did you say for 1 to 9?
I feel like you should be motivated to, since we're willing to learn, the more you learn, the more you learn.
Mike, can you mute you guys? Thanks.
Yeah.
Zach, Jules, Chelsea.
What?
We get to talk?
What?
We get to talk? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
So I mean, just with the whole weekend effort thing, just like that being part of our culture and everything. I don't know. I personally haven't had a chance to explore my weekends yet. How have you guys been doing with that, with school and everything? How have your weekends been going?
I went home last weekend, sold like $2,000,
Nice.
which was cool. I sold a Siggy, and then I left and then came back to Gamble. So
That was nice. Make it quick, like $800, something like that.
1,000, bro. The Siggy was steak, and I make half.
That's pretty sick.
Pop-ups. How do you disable, bro? How do you turn on pop-ups on Google?
On the top right, there's a thing.
Where?
I don't know.
Google Chrome.
So if
Google
you guys
Chrome.
can actually digest the questions that we asked, that'd be fantastic. We got another 90 seconds. So who's facilitating? Zach, why don't you facilitate, the questions, please?
Okay. So I know you guys were talking about weekend. Wait, so we're talking about weekend selling, correct?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? Yeah, that's what he's.
No, we're not talking about weekend selling. So you guys are collaborating to figure out why we give effort and why consistent selling are a culture for the Game Changers and an expectation for our leadership team. And you're going to discuss what are some qualities that this embodies, why is this important, maybe some examples of this, why is this important for our culture, and why is it important for an expectation?
Okay. So they're being really loud next door, but as far as giving effort, we can't do anything. We can't be hypocrites. So anytime, very easy to tell reps to give effort, but if you're not giving effort, they're not going to give effort, right? It's also as far as selling, right? It's very, I know like during the spring, I think of like Tyler coaching Mason, right? And he was selling consistently. And it's very hard to coach someone if you're an AM and you're not selling, because how are you going to tell someone else what to do if you're not picking up it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, guys. So that was right at 3 minutes to honor the time. So let's talk. So maybe I was vague or indirect with what I wanted to get accomplished. So I apologize on that. So, but let's see what these other groups came up with, and then we'll go back to virtual land and see what you guys came up with. So start with Amanda and Steven. So you guys were designed to discuss we are willing to learn as our culture and aggressive team building as one of our expectations, right? So everyone else, what I'd like for you to do is write down, what comes through, for you or for, what they share with us about this topic. So our culture, we're willing to learn. What came through for you? Loud and proud, so here.
So the more you learn, the more you earn. So if you're really that hungry for success, you're willing to learn. Demonstrate that very well.
Yeah, I said that there's always room to improve, no matter how good you are, and just want to grow. And we said we're willing to learn. For staying on that topic,
so go ahead and talk. I'm sorry, there's a lot of background. So for the culture one, go ahead and do the next one too. So we're willing to learn, and I agree with what you're saying. The more if you learn, you earn. The more likely you're willing to, the more you put into your effort. I'm sorry, the background noise. Say if you could repeat what you said.
There's always room to improve, no matter how good you want to continuously get better and grow personally and professionally. Always room to improve, no matter how good you are.
Always room to improve, no matter how good you are. All right. So hey, Jules, you keep unmuting yourself?
You keep unmuting me.
I know, I keep muting you because you have a lot of feedback in the background. Yeah, there we go. Awesome, thank you. So I agree. The more you learn, you grow yourself personally, professionally, you're going to give yourself opportunity to advance. I agree. We want that to be our culture. What about the aggressive team building from you guys? Why is that an expectation?
To build a business and to help the company hit their goals.
Yep. Pretty much just wanting the business to grow and being a role model for the team and recruiting and just being able to provide the opportunities to others. It's a pretty awesome opportunity. It's also a good practice for running your branch or district office or even as a full-time assistant manager over the summer. And you could also win contests and trips just from building business. So
we got contests and trips. We've got paying it forward and offering such a great opportunity to more people, helping the business continually evolve and do your part. as a member of the team. I feel like I missed one.
And it's good practice.
Practice for when you, when you have a future opportunity for yourself. Love that. So that's essentially what we wanted to get accomplished with those two. I love that. So communicate, high levels of communication. So with this group here, high levels of communication for our culture. What did you come up with that? Why was that? Why did we want that as our culture?
It's important to let them know what's going on with business, and then also let everyone else know, like, as far as your responsibilities in the office, and what's going on with you. But I also think it's important, and you said it a lot of time, to actually track like your progress and everything. So that's why I also think it's important to be good communication, because you're clocking in, clocking out, and you're seeing it every day, and you're more aware of it.
I love that word, awareness. Why we communicate, I love that word, awareness. So that way you're aware, other people are aware, and it allows you to be held accountable. I agree. I love that.
And then as far as a positive role model.
Anything else on that one, or you're a spokesperson, so that's good. Emma. No, it's good.
Okay. As far as positive role model, we also kind of said it's important to set an example for all the other reps in the office. They have something to look towards. But also it's just kind of important. I'll just sit on my mouth. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, basically just like set an example for everyone else in the office.
Yeah. Under the umbrella of positive role model, I have the 4 keys that we go over day 1 of training. What are those 4 keys? What's one of the 4 keys? High communication is one of them. Be prepared. Show up prepared is another one of them. Be responsible. That's another one of them. Positive attitude. Positive attitude. Right? So positive attitude. We went out of our order, so it's tough. Positive attitude, be responsible. High communication, show up prepared. Right? Those are the 4 keys of being a positive role model. But you got to embody those 4 things in order for other people to follow you, right? So I agree with you guys there. So as far as going to virtual land now, I'll unmute you guys. With that being said, of what we wanted to get accomplished there, did you guys have anything to add as far as we give effort and consistent selling?
So what we talked about here, Joel, turn up. Yeah, sorry. We talked about like hypocrisy. So it's very hard to coach a rep and tell them to sell if you are an AM and you're not selling yourself. And then also like consistency, like holding other reps accountable. It's hard for them to like recognize that you're holding them accountable if you aren't doing the same thing. And they see that too. And it goes with putting in effort, right? So if you're an AM phone jamming and you leave without hitting your goal, like what's a rep going to do when they see that?
That would be for giving effort, or would that be for the consistent selling?
Both. So like if you're an AM, right, and you're not consistently selling, a rep's not going to consistently sell. And then if you're giving effort, right, phone jamming, anything regards to like effort in the office, if you're not giving full effort, you can't expect the reps to follow in your footsteps with that same intensity, or they're going to match your intensity rather. So if you're not at 100% effort, they're going to match that.
Yeah. And we embody that during push weeks. I mean, we are, if you look at our sales reports, 10% of our summer comes from week 1 of SE2, and 9% of the summer comes from week 2 of SE2. And so by everything said and done, it's actually almost 30% of our entire summer sales come during just the SE2 push alone. 30% of a 17-week period come in 3 weeks. So, I mean, yeah, we know how to give effort, and we definitely know how to perform and step up. But what I like what Zach is saying, we also want to have the balance on consistency, and the selling consistency is important too. So that's why we have a culture, and then we have expectations. They kind of align, and they come together. But it's not just what Mike says. This is not what I want. What's in it for you, right? It's all about what's in it for you. And that's why we started last week. Not what's in it for the business, but what's in it for you. You want to make money. You want to have savings. Well, that comes from these principles. You want to read books to teach and share your knowledge. That comes, from embodiment of being willing to learn. You want to grow your opportunities and advancement and influence and impact other people. But no one's going to want to listen to you if you're the same as them. Right? Like, if you're just talking about on the same level as everyone else, they have nothing to learn from you. right? So you want to separate yourself. So all of what we're talking about is a business. This is a playground. This is a haven for you simply to mess up a bunch, grow personally, professionally, and financially, embody those principles, and of course, hit your goals in the process. And that's what we want to get accomplished. So on a local level, that's what I want to get accomplished today. So as far as a fishbowl scenario, I'll give you one real quick. So here's the scenario. Scenario is rep for the week. Rep sold $1,000. Rep sold $1,000. Their goal was to sell $1,000 on 9 demos. So they went into the week. They said, I want to do 9 demos this week, and I want to sell. Let's say they went into the week. They wanted to do 9 demos, and they wanted to sell $2,000. Let's say $2,000. Okay. So I went into the week. I wanted to sell $2,000. I wanted to do 9 demos. That was the goal. The result: they completed 5 demos, sold on 4 of them, $1,000, and got 10 recommendations. 10 recommendations total from those appointments. So let me give you the stats one more time. The goals: 9 demos, sell $2,000. The actual result: sold $1,000, did 5 demos, had 4 sales for 10 recommendations. That's the scenario. So that's the situation. Now we know the situation. What's the conversation? That's the question. What's the conversation?
Did they have 9 demos set?
That's a good question. They, how many of the 9 demos did they set up? Let's say they set up 6. They set up 6 and did 5. Great question. Great question.
And they sold 1?
They sold on 4 for $1,000. So now that we have our data, so just to clarify, the result, outcome, or the goal, sell $2,000 on 9 demos. The actual outcome, sold $1,000, set 6, did 5, sold on 4 of them, and had 10 recommendations total. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to to kind of get your mind right around what do you think the conversation should be, or what are the bullet points of the conversation. I'm going to go to the most newest person first on this. So I'll start with, we'll go with Danielle, and then we'll go to Jules, and then we'll go to Grant, and then we'll go to Sierra, and then we'll go to, anyone who, then I'll give it to Josh, Steven, Amanda, and Zach on whatever they missed, or Chelsea, whatever they missed. Okay? So where do you think you would start? Well, where do you think you would start with this conversation, Danielle?
The 4 sales for $1,000. I talked about if they're trying to push sets or not. Because if they sold a set on all 4 demos, they probably would have sold more.
Okay, so Danielle thinks to focus on the 4 sales to increase the average order. Cool. So Jules, what do you think?
I think that they have to work on their rec approach for sure. If they only got 10 recs, because then they're not building their business.
Cool. So recommendations in order to help them build their business. So that's what Jules says. And then we'll go to Grant and then Sierra.
Yeah, I think just sort of talking them through the comparison with their goals. If they say they're selling $2,000 in 9 demos, that's about $200 a demo. But if they're only completing a few of those, they need to bump that up. So sort of anticipating an average order that's like sort of looking at the goals and comparing them to what they actually did. And in the future, maybe planning their goals or planning their work ethic. If they wanted 9 demos, maybe only being able to do 5 of them, they needed to set up more. They needed to set up 10 or 12. So sort of more on a phone approach type of thing to get those completed demos and turn and increase those sales.
Cool. Excellent. And then Sierra, what do you think?
I would ask them how they think they did throughout the week to see if what they did was what they thought was good, not hitting the goals, but getting some outcomes with it, and then asking what they would do better, just to give them a feel of their awareness.
I like that. So Sierra is saying don't address any of the numbers, but lead with curiosity first of what do you think, Johnny Rep? You know, these are the numbers, these are all the facts. Now that you have all the numbers, seeing, well, what do you think? I like that. I like that approach. Josh or Steven, you guys are pretty much even as far as when you started.
Okay, I definitely really like what Sierra said. I definitely think starting off with that. But I also would want to have them tell me exactly what time that they were going to do phone time next and try to instill in them that my consistent phone times would be better off for them to actually complete those demos. And then also really work on the rec approach because that's not a very good return on. So I have to maintain it.
So you go to troubleshooting and repairing for this next upcoming week and just look forward, okay? And Steven?
Coming off of what Sierra said, what do you think you need to work on? Finding that out and telling them what you do. Sharing that, and then I like what Grant said. You set more, you complete more. So if you wanted 9, you set 6. So if you want 9, set 11 and 12. And then explain the equation.
Well, and then we'll go Zach and then Amanda. What do you guys think? I'm sorry. Well, I guess
Curiosity. Just show them in the numbers, like these are the facts, ask them how they feel, remind them why they're doing the job, like say like, hey, I remember like, you know, you were trying to work for your car payment, like how, are you getting closer to that, or you know, how do you feel that you didn't hit your goal? What's that going to do for you as far as like your car goes? I know you were working really hard to pay that off.
Cool. So asking them why did they set those goals in the first place?
Yeah.
And then starting from there. I like that. We'll go Chelsea and then Amanda.
No, I can't hear him. Wait 1 second. Repeat that.
So you said ask them why they set their goal in the first place.
Yeah.
Right, and start there, and then that's where you would start the conversation.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. And then Chelsea, what do you think?
So I definitely agree with Zach on asking them why to begin with, and then just opening like their mind a little bit more. So since they completed 5 demos and had 4 sales on those demos, it's like just imagine if you would have hit your goal of 9, like you would have hit your sales goal, you would have been able to do this. This is why you're working towards it anyways, and down those lines, and definitely role play the rec approach with them.
Cool. And Amanda, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty similar to Zach and Chelsea. I would have congratulated them on getting on the newsletter this week. And then I would have asked them their goals, why did you set those in the first place? And then let them explain. And I would have been like, hey, you know, a couple of red flags. I know that your goal was to sell 2K on 9 appointments. However, you only set 6 demos in 5. Would you say it's a lack of resources or a lack of effort? And then depending on what they say, and then going from there. And then also, it's pretty alarming that on 5 demos, you only got 10 recs total. What are they saying when you ask for recommendations to kind of get an idea of what their customers are saying? So that way, that gives me an idea of how to best work with the rep, and then having them do their approach with them.
Cool. So it's interesting how the evolution of experience can kind of go, right? Danielle, coming back to you since you started, after hearing the evolution of what you just learned, what is your immediate take after hearing? I know I put you on the spot to go first.
Asking about their goals first, for sure. But like asking why they set those goals in the first place, and then helping them like realize that in order to reach their like final goal, they have to put their reach forward. Yeah.
Cool perspective, right? I agree. I love that we have this group where we have some next level group and we have some TLA in the session. So here's how I would approach it. I think the formula, if you want to write down the formula that I would approach it with, is I agree with Zach when he said, why do you set the goal in the first place? I think that starting there is critical. So I think starting there is where, hey, you set a goal that you wanted to do 9 appointments this week and sell $2,000. What was significant about that goal? Like, why did you want to set the goal in the first place? Cool. Then once you have the reason why they set the goal, it's like, okay, well, these are all the results. These are all the outcomes. How do you feel with your outcomes? I agree with Sierra there. I think that's the second question. So seeing how they feel, because they might feel awesome. They might feel like, I got 10 recommendations. It's better than nothing, right? So even though, because if you bash them and they feel good, then now you're losing rapport, and you don't want to compromise the relationship before you even, because then you can't ever give them coaching. So you don't want to bash before you foster the relationship. So I ask them how they feel. I agree with Sierra. I think that's good. I like the next step of what Chelsea said, which is showing them what's possible by them hitting their appointment goal with their results. And I just want to show you, with the averages that you just put together right now, if you actually hit your appointment goal that you wanted, this is what the outcome would have been. You would have sold this much, you would have got this many recommendations if you hit your appointment goal that you set for yourself. Now, there's one part of this that I want to make sure that doesn't get unnoticed. Anytime we're coaching a rep, we always want to coach them on what's in their control directly. And I agree with what Steven said, which is addressing, it's impossible for you to complete 9 appointments if you only set up 6. So that's the number that is the most significant and most important number out of all of those numbers, is their appointment goal. And addressing that with the question of what Amanda said, which is, you set the goal of 9, but you only set up 6. Missing that appointment goal with the amount set up, was it a lack of effort or was it a lack of resources on why you didn't hit the appointment goal that you set for the week? And that's the only critique you want to give them. The only critique you give them in this scenario is missing their appointment goal. Their skills check does not matter. The recommendations does not matter. The CPO does not matter. Why? Because it's like a funnel. You start at the top of the funnel. You start at the top of the coaching funnel. And the top of the coaching funnel is, did they hit their demo goal? If that check mark is not checked off, you don't continue down the rest of the funnel. You start there. Then, if their demo goal, if they hit their demo, say it was 1 in 9 appointments, completed 9 appointments, then we go to the next one. What's the next one? Is recommendations to keep their business going. Then we can talk about skills check with recommendations. Honestly, I would just tell them, hey, I'm going to send you a video. I encourage you to watch it, but we're not going to talk too much about recommendations. Why? Because frankly, I don't care about the recommendations right now. I care about your integrity of hitting your goal. Now, if we need to talk about adding more phone numbers and whatnot, we can. But what's most important is hitting your appointment goal, in my opinion. That's what I would address. I think I was very healthy. I like that scenario, for sure. All right. So, any takeaways on that from as you just did that scenario before we transition? Yeah, Josh and Amanda.
I definitely like Chelsea helping them see the potential. I think that definitely is going to help motivate the reps to actually hit their appointment goal.
Cool. Love that. Good.
I think it was being too tough by just critiquing them on everything versus, just worrying about what's in their control, which is their demo.
Yeah. Got to, if you just pick apart the whole business, they're going to shut down, right? They're going to shut down. You always focus on one aspect. Cool. Good observations. Good. You have a thought, Grant?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, I thought it was smart. Just like with customers, I've always had a tough time asking questions, but when you do ask questions, you get the results. So even when you're talking to a rep, when you're asking them the questions, how do you feel about your goals? How do you think you can improve this? What can we do to help you? Asking them the questions, getting their responses, and then kind of coaching them on that. I think that's a great strategy.
Excellent. Cool. So what we're going to, Steven, go for it. Last one.
I like the finding the objection that they're getting. And going for that, someone before them, some burdens to say for them. So I like that, even though it's just
Yeah. Cool. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the PR approach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the whys of the approach for each of us, okay, and then we're going to role play. We'll role play. Here's what I have our preps going from 4 to 5:45 because I want to do this stuff. I want to do more than just what everyone else is doing. That's because it gives me significance. It gives me a purpose. And if I don't feel like I'm offering what I'm good at, then I'm robbing myself of why I'm doing what I'm doing in the first place. So last year I did 2-hour preps. We got it down to hour 45, but I wanted to make sure that we're honoring you guys and getting the role play that you need. Okay, so let's take out your PR scripts. Okay, let's take out your PR scripts, and I will. All right, so I will do a screen share. All right, so this has been emailed out. Can you guys see my screen out in virtual land right now? Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So let's go through this. So what we want to get, what I want to go through is I want to go through what are we accomplishing, and then you'll role play, because the words really don't matter. It's what are we accomplishing within those words. Ready? So, hey blank, this is blank from Vector. I work with your friend so and so. How are you? Did blank mention I was going to give you a call? And that's like a head nod, just like calling a customer, calling a recommendation. If yes, cool. If no, no worries. Well, the reason I'm calling is so. The whole beginning part, pretty simple. This little paragraph right here. So Johnny just started working with us. He's actually doing really well. Knew you were looking and knew we were looking to fill some more spots on our team. Actually recommended you as someone who is possibly looking for work and would be a good fit. So I just want to tell you a little bit more about it real quick. Just confirm you're at least 17. So this right here, this little paragraph, the whole purpose of this paragraph is to create an interest, okay? The words that we're using to create an interest is possibly looking for work. Actually, as someone who is possibly looking for work. So we're creating the interest with that. If you're using the AM PR script, I'm using words like young professional work environment, resume experience, all of those. Either way, it's the same thing. It's just to create an interest. That's the objective of paragraph 1. Why do we ask the question just to confirm you're at least 17, right? What's the purpose of that question? Is to gain what?
Pre-screen.
We gain control. That's what we do. We ask the question to gain control of the conversation. If you don't ask the question, they're going to ask you questions, and then they're going to be in control of the conversation. So we ask the question to gain control. On the AM script that I came up with is like, do you have a quick minute right now? That was the question to gain control, but it doesn't matter what the question is. The question is there to gain control. Then you go into information. Okay, so you know the name of the company is Vector. We've been in business since 1981. The openings are an entry-level customer sales and service, working one-on-one with customers, helping them fill out order forms, answering questions, and basically just helping them out in any way possible. Pay is $14.50 guaranteed, not based on sales or commissions. And by the way, no door-to-door telemarketing involved. And also, by the way, how do you know so-and-so? All right, so this part of the description of the position, okay? That's giving them the description of the position. That's that part of the approach. Nothing more. I would just go a little slow so that way they could actually understand what you're saying. But then we ask another question. Why do we ask another question? To maintain what? Control. You guys are quick learners. Then we build rapport. The building rapport aspect of the phone conversation is probably the most important aspect of the phone conversation, yet it's the hardest part of the call when you're new. So these are a couple of great questions, but it's not an interview. So you don't want to make it feel like an interview. Like, so how do you know Johnny? School? What school? What are you studying? Do you like food? It's like, it's not an interview, it's a conversation, so it's a dialogue. So how conversation works, ready? Here's the biggest thing that I'll tell you about conversation. You give a little, and then they'll give a little. For example, here's a conversation. Here's rapport number 1. Give a little bit, so that way they feel comfortable to give a little bit. For example, so what school do you go to? Let's role play. Stephen, what school do you go to? What high school did you go to? Oh, cool. We actually have a few people that go to CCC. I love working with kids from that school. Have you decided what college you want to go to? I gave a little bit, and now he's comfortable giving me a little bit more. Does everyone see how rapport works? Okay? So it's not just get their answer, ask another question. It's get their answer, talk for just a little, and then invite them to join the conversation again with another question. You see how that works? So it doesn't feel like an interview. So let's do working. So by the way, are you working right now at the moment? Not working. Hey, well, have you worked in the past or had done anything working with people at all?
Well, yeah, I've done a few different.
Oh, car wash, cool. Hey, everyone needs to get the car wash, right? I'm sure you've seen some really cool cars, huh? What's the nicest car you've ever seen while you're doing it? You guys see what I mean? Conversation. That's not scripted, but I do a little, and then I invite with a question for them to do a little bit more. Make sense? Cool. So that's how these questions are tools. Then you give a little bit more information. So, all right, well, hey, the reason I ask is we offer very flexible schedules and the work around any other commitments that you might have. We have some scholarships, internships at the company, and since you were personally recommended by Johnny, it actually gives you priority scheduling over other applicants. We're responding to like our ads on Craigslist. Does that make sense? So what does that mean? That's why I'm calling you. Essentially, that part right here of the approach is just saying, this is why I'm actually calling you. Bless you. I'm calling you because you were recommended. That's the only reason I'm calling you. Why do we say that? So that way they don't say, can you call me back another time? The only reason I'm calling you right now on a Sunday is because we have a lot of applications coming through on Craigslist, but I wanted to give you priority scheduling because your friend highly recommended you. So that way they feel what? Special. That's the word, right? They feel special. That's why we say that in this script. So what I could do for you is just set up a time to sit with a manager where you could check it out, and she could cover the details and answer more questions you might have. So while I take a look at my manager's availability, walk me through your schedule for the next couple of days in general. And then you schedule them for an interview. Now what this is saying is, cool, so you have, did you have anything else that might get in the way? No, well, it looks like I could get you in and then just offer them a day and a time. Now you always want to try for next day, next interview. Next day, next interview. That's your ideal situation. Why do we want to try for next day, next interview? Because it increases the what? Urgency, yes, which also in turn increases their likeliness to what? Show up for their interview. If you're calling on a Sunday and you schedule them for Thursday, there's a chance, law of diminishing intent, LODI, L-O-D-I, law of diminishing intent. The longer we wait, the more likely something's going to come up. Car breaks down, cell phone breaks, parents neg them out, friend, whatever it might be, right? So that's why you want to schedule next interview next time. So that way we could do our interview to build value for the position. Our interview is not a sales pitch, but I need to help you understand that it's to build value in the position. Your Cutco presentation, yeah, it's a sales pitch, but realistically, it's to build value in the product line. If we don't need to build value in Cutco, we would not need a sales team, right? The reason why we have recruiters is to build value in what Vector Marketing offers young people, and that's where the interview comes into play. We'll get you in as soon as possible, give you some information. We give them the address, we give them the phone number, and then we give them the directions. Frankly, in my office, we just text them the address. Okay, we text them the address. You text them from your personal cell phone. You say, hey, if you have any questions, just text me. I'll set you, I'll help you get here if you need any questions. 15 minutes early, dress nice, bring a pen and paper. My name is blank. Feel free to, ask for me when you come in. Good luck. We look forward to seeing you. Any questions on the approach? So let's debrief. What did we just go through as far as the approach goes? Phase one. What's phase one of the approach? Phase one? So it's to create the interest. So phase one, create the interest. Phase two, Danielle? Gain control. You got it. So we create the interest, then gain control. Phase three, what? Give information. Give information, right? Then phase four, Amanda? Build rapport. Then phase five is make them feel special. Make them feel special. Phase six is what would you say? You said urgency. Urgency would be the next one. Urgency. And the last phase is to give them a positive send-off. That's what it's called. A positive send-off. So I don't care what words you're saying. You just want to kind of follow those benchmarks or those phases of the approach. So if you like the approach that I was using, use that one. It's the same concept. It's a pretty and similar concept. If you like this approach, use this one. I don't care what you're saying. If you like Richmond, use Richmond. I don't care. What I care about is, are you following the phases? But here's what I will tell you. When you drill at prep on next Saturday, you will be drilled on this one. That's all. Cool? Questions, comments, thoughts? All right. What do you think are the most common objections, most common questions or frequently asked questions that someone might ask? What are the most common ones? So if they ask you, what's the job again? That means you read too fast. That's what that means. You guys got me? Cool. Here's what I need to help you understand as recruiters. Information is not what they need to make a comfortable decision. Information is not what they need to make a comfortable decision. That's not what they need. Connection is what creates more of an excitement and more of an interest in information. Too much information is not what they need. They need excitement and they need connection. That's what they need. They need to feel significant. They need to feel important. Those are the things that are going to get them more likely to schedule that interview. So if they say, what's the job again? You could say, hey, that's a great question. Always, that's a great question. Anytime someone asks a question, there's a form. Let me give you the formula for responding to a question. Ready? Someone asks you a question. First thing is, you compliment. That's a great question. Compliment. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Here's actually a bonus. Ready? Bonus. Repeat their question just to clarify. I would even clarify before I answer the question or before I compliment the question. So I would clarify. So if you said, so Amanda says, what's the job again? Like, what is it that you're doing? So it's like, oh, so just to clarify, you just want to know, like, what would you be doing if you were hired? I clarify. So that way I know I'm answering the right question. So you clarify. So it's like, okay, so if what am I going to be doing? So we had a role play. So ask me a question. Babe. So what am I going to do? So just to clarify, you want to know like what your friend Johnny Rep does here? Like what would you be doing if you were hired? That's a great question. Okay. So it says here the positions are for entry level, and then you give them the information. Clarify, compliment, answer, and then we ask another question. Clarify, compliment, answer, ask another question. No, you gain control. Gain control. So ask a report question. So it's like, wait, what am I going to be doing? So just make sure you want to know like what your friend Johnny Rep does. Like what would you be doing if you were hired? I'm glad you asked. That's a good question. It says here, yada, yada, no one rambling, knocking on doors, it's appointment setting, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about working with people? Do you feel like you can handle those responsibilities? Ask a question. Do you see that? Now I'm back in control of the conversation. What's another one that they might ask? What's another popular objection or question they might ask? So specific objections right here. Let's see. So I already have another job is a big one. That's another one, right? I already have a job. So that's not an objection. That's not necessarily a question. That's more of a concern, right? I already have knives. That's not a question. That's a concern. So what's the question from the concern? Why should I pursue this opportunity if I already have a job? You ever see? So you take the concern, turn it into a question. So why should I continue this conversation if I already have a job? What's that really mean? Build more value for this role and this opportunity than what I'm currently experiencing. You see that? I don't know, hopefully. So you could just read what this says. But I want you to understand the mindset. Think like Mike for a moment. Build value and opportunity. What does this one say? I already have a job? Oh, totally. Johnny actually mentioned that you might already have a job. However, we do have very flexible schedules. So were you possibly looking to make some extra income or interested in building up your resume this summer? I mean, I'd love to give you some more information about it. I mean, do you have a few minutes to speak real quick? That's what the objection says. Well, what's the point? What's the most important point? The most important point of the objection is not the words. What's the most important point? Even more important than taking control. That's it. Josh, ding, ding, ding. Feel a little buzzer. They're not seeing value in our position yet. That's what that means. So I don't care what you say. You can even say something like as simple as like, oh, you're at a job. Hey, totally understand. Most of the people that work here have another job. Have you seen our Snapchat story? Yeah, it's like inspiration, motivation, a lot of resume builder, really good money. So, but your friend thought that around your schedule, it's real flexible. You might want to make some extra cash, have some fun, and build your resume. If you have a couple of minutes, I can just tell you a little bit more about it. You guys follow? Like, it does not matter what the words are, but what matters is what Josh just said is thinking, okay, what the words they're saying does not matter. Why are they saying what they're saying? Is they don't see value in the position. I got to build more value for the position. Got it? Same thing with a customer. That's why TLA is going to help you with your management skills and your selling skills so much, because the customer says my knives are fine. They're not saying my knives are fine. They're saying, why should I spend more money on Cutco if I already have knives? Said differently, answer the question. I don't see value in your product line. You don't see? Think about the question behind the question behind the question. All right. So what's another objection that's a popular one? I already have a job. What'd you say, Stephen? I'm not interested, right? I'm not interested. What they're saying is help me feel interested. Why should I be interested in this position? Why should I feel interested? Similar concept. Here, and this is, you could easily pull, hey, I totally get it. If you were interested, you'd be calling me, right? You can say something like that. The words really don't matter. Hey, if you were interested, you'd probably be calling me. Your friend just thought that you might want some of the information because it's flexible income, good experience, it's a fun work environment. By the way, I mean, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to go through? What are you trying to do later on in life? What are you trying to do in your career job? I love the career job question. Why do I love the career job question? You got it. How this is going to help you get your goals. That's what we do. This is a skills development agency that happens to sell knives. You got to bring the guard down. I agree. Ask a good question and bring the guard down. Those are the main ones. I would say, I already have a job, I'm not interested, or what is it that you guys do there? Well, is there another main, like a popular one that maybe Zach or Amanda or Chelsea, you guys have heard a bunch? I mean, they don't see. That's the thing is, we want to focus on the most popular, like 80%. 80% of the ones that I'm thinking that you might hear are those three, unless there's another one that you think that's like.
It's usually I have another job or like I'm really busy in school, or it's like what's the job again?
Yeah, I'd say it's those three as well. So what we're gonna do is let's practice. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna role play. We only have 15 minutes, so let's see. Cool. So my only parting shout that I'll say, and then we'll have you guys role play. My parting shout is the on YouTube, the audio book for the 4 agreements is not on there, but there's a guy that talks and discusses the book for like 45 minutes, and he breaks down each of the chapters, and he does a really good in-depth job of debriefing the book. If you want to listen to that, that could be an idea. If you didn't want to listen to if you don't want to buy the book, or if you're like, Mike, I really don't want to read this PDF off of my computer, I would accept that if you want to listen to this guy on YouTube. I just bought the book. I had a copy of the book. I lost it, so I just bought another one. Download the PDF to Kindle. Ooh, I like that. That's a great idea. Download the PDF to Kindle. Cool. So what we're going to do is we'll do Amanda and Steven. All right. You guys will role play. We'll do Zach. I'll have you FaceTime with Danielle. Okay.
Actually,
I'm sitting next to Jules.
Oh, you're sitting next to Jules. Okay, that's fine. So then I'll have Grant. I'll have you FaceTime with Danielle. Cool. And then Chelsea, I'll have Chelsea, why don't you join? Why don't Grant, you just hop off, FaceTime with Danielle. Chelsea, you stay on with Zach and Jules. and then we'll have the two of you partner up. Cool? You know?
Danielle, can you WhatsApp me your phone number so we can FaceTime?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can do the remote. Cool. We're done in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes will give you enough time to run through the approach and the objections probably once or twice each. All right? You don't have to don't go through the whole last day. Like, don't schedule that. Like, just get them scheduled, but don't actually schedule them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't go through the directions and the address and all that crap. Like, just go through the page one. Yeah, end on, okay, great, and then switch. And throw in an objection at your partner and see how they handle it. Cool? Got it? Ready to roll? Let's do it.